This is a great question. To simplify it, two things: preparation and what's your why. Let's start with what's your why. And people use it in the motivational speaking world a lot. What's your why? Why are you getting into this? What are you trying to accomplish? And with creatives, it's a bit different because we're not really sending a message. We kind of are, but we're not as clear as it is in motivational speaking. So what happens is our output is a reflection of our input. So as a visual artist, what you're doing is your output is a reflection of how you see the world, same with music artists. You hear a lot of documentaries, or you see artists say, oh, I was raised in the church. Oh, okay, that's why you sing like that. Oh, I remember when my mom was playing this when I was cleaning. That's why their music that they're putting out there is a reflection of that. And what happens is when we start, we're just creating an output based off of our input, how we hear the world, we're letting other people hear it. And since other people hear the world in completely different ways, usually the response is not like what we imagine or envision all the time. And as creatives, don't lie, as much as people will tell you, we all want people to enjoy what we have. So if we make a painting, we want to show it to somebody and they say, oh, wow, that's a nice painting. Oh, wow, that's a nice song. So now what happens is that you create. And then one time you get it right. Now, right is a very tricky term because there's no right or wrong in the creative world, but right in a sense that the whole world lines up, meaning, like I said, the stars align, meaning the way that you see the world, other people see the world too, meaning they appreciate what you have to offer, what you've created. And now you guys are on the same page. So essentially the world sees what your output the way you see it now, and they appreciate it and they enjoy it, or they're pretty much filling in the gaps of what they might miss, and they say, okay, that's what it is. That's why we go look for art. We go look for art to fill in gaps, whether it be we're in a mood of happiness, comfort, whatever, it fills and rounds that out. So now coming back to preparation. Remember, the other thing was preparation. So like I said, we create for ourselves, essentially stuff that we enjoy. But then what happens is when we finally get it right, we're rarely ever prepared for the next level. The next level doesn't have to be like, top of the world. It could just simply mean that the 10 people that liked, the one song and they never liked any previous songs, now it's kind of to appease them. And really to appease them is more so your hunger, satisfying your hunger of people enjoying what you have to offer. Because now that they've seen it, now that they understand it, it gets a bit more difficult to, I don't want to say appease, but just understand it that way, So as you continue to create after that moment, you kind of want, it's like a drug, you kind of want that hit of everybody seeing things your way again, and very rarely does that ever happen, So what happens is two things happen, which most people aren't prepared for, or most people see other people do. So you either keep creating how you create. If it satisfies yourself, that's A-okay, that's no problem. But when the thing is that as we grow older, and the way we look at life is that, nobody wants to be old. Nobody wants to be seen as old. Very, very few people accept, age and things like that at a young age. You just get older and you look back and you're like, wow, all this time has changed. I'm this different person. But the thing is that as we're putting out our stuff, we start to receive that feedback. Meaning, remember, you put out stuff, your friends, they don't listen. Then that one time, all 10 of your friends, they're on the same page. But then now as you keep creating, you're not hitting the mark as you did that first time. So now it becomes old because people's lives change. They move on in their life, they grow on, look on to different things, and they don't pay attention to it as much as that creative would once like. But at the same time, like I said, if they're appeasing themselves, A-okay, they're happy, no problem. So now the other thing happens, it happens mostly in music. People get successful, they get a level of success, and then they go what they call pop. So the thing about pop is that it's a format that's essentially created for reaching the masses, And then what happens is that another two things. The first thing, the most obvious thing, is it alienates that first audience that was locked in with them at the beginning. And now it's like, okay, you went pop. You're not doing what brought you in. You're not doing what we loved. But from the artist standpoint, the creative standpoint, is that they're not receiving the same reception that they once did. So they're kind of chasing that high. So they follow these standardized system of things to do. Like there's a format called ABBA or AABA. And if you want more on that, definitely drop a comment and I'll let you know about that. But but yeah, they start following all these standardized formats to reach the masses, things that have worked throughout history, 100, 200 years of music. So so now that an artist is doing that, they alienate all the people that came at the same place. Now the thing about pop is that it's business. It's a business decision because you want to maintain that position. Chances are some creative side of you is going to suffer because reaching the masses is a very difficult thing to do. I mean, think about it. I mean, it's Monday. I'm right around the corner. Netflix is hard for me to keep or a lot of us, a $10 subscription because it's like, do I really need this? Do I really need to see all this? And they have hundreds of movies, hundreds of great content. And a lot of people pull it off every day. And that's what they call industry. The term of industry is just like basically a business that's been in place to serve different parts of a common idea. I'll find the actual definition later. But essentially, people wake up and they go to work 9 hours, 10 hours a day at Netflix to create that content to tap into the masses so many different times. So it's not an easy thing to do, and that usually comes with the journey of somebody consistently trying to hit that mark of being able to please a lot of people, which is tough. Some people are built for it where they're like, they see it as it's business. I'm just doing what I'm doing. And I maintain, some of my identity, and that's A-okay. But then other people, they see it as, oh, selling out, he's selling out, But it's all in essence to, capture what they got into it for. We're all creatives, and that's perfectly fine. So, okay, bringing everything together now. I know I've been rambling. But, so the why and preparation. So the thing is that certain people, or a lot of people who get into this, we rarely ever think about preparation. What happens when I get to the point where everybody's on the same page? Do I want to keep enjoying that, or was this really a me thing, So bringing it back to the why, if it's a case where it's like, hey, I was just happy making music for myself. I don't have to appease a bunch of people. I don't need money from music. Then definitely fine, keep creating, and that's A-okay, So I'm just letting you know that it is A-okay to understand that once you finally get it right in your creation journey, it's going to be tough to always be right and always have people agree, but that's A-okay. Keep creating for you and enjoy that, because at the end of the day, we're creatives. And the other one is, what did I say? Did I say why or preparation? So preparation is understanding. So now the other one is that preparation is knowing that, okay, I want to reach the masses. So very rarely as a kid, when we're listening to music on the school bus and whatever the case may be, we're thinking about what happens when we reach 1 million people and the cost of doing that. And the cost meaning simply what we're doing, the systematic setup of what it takes and what's been proven throughout history to reach millions of people. So when you're young, if you understand that, all right, look, when you reach 1 million people, if you want to keep doing this, if you want to be a top artist, if you want to, compete at a certain level, understand that, okay, we look at, hey, I want to rap in front of millions of people or sing in front of millions of people. But at the end of the day, you have to reach millions of people to make them say, okay, in my workday, in my life, I want to put a ticket towards said artist. And that might be a deeper connection and deeper understanding of what you might be creating in order to make that possible, So some people get discouraged because on the other side, they're creating for themselves, but they want those results. But it's just a reality of understanding that, I am creating for myself. So that's not going to happen, and that's fine. And those who understand from the get-go that, hey, this is my goal, this is my why, I want to be the biggest artist in the world. So part of being the biggest artist in the world requires a lot of, following the formats that are in place, proven to reach the world. A lot of people look at it bad because of the creative world, but in reality, I mean, like I said, bringing things back to sports. You want to be the best athlete? Well, you look at what Kobe Bryant does. There's stories of Michael Jordan staying after practice and going before practice and shooting 100 free throws and whatever the case may be. That's what it takes in order to achieve those results, So bringing it back to where I started, your why and preparation. So make sure you know why. Not everybody knows why, but thankfully through people like me in this video, if you're young and you're in, a kid in school or whatever like that, really take a look at your goals and say, okay, I want to create on the level of said artist or whatever, and then prep, simply prep, research said artist, look at the, look at their music, look at their documentaries. There's a whole lot of information out there, people do, misconstrue the truth, but, the truth is obvious. You just got to really take the time to research and open the book and pay attention to what's going on. Don't look at the interviews on the big platforms. Look at the interviews on the small platforms. But if you really pay attention and you really actually write things down, you'd be surprised. One thing about sports is we did a lot of watching film. When you watch film, you pay attention to somebody's moves, and you could pretty much put together on stats, on charts, what human beings are most likely predictable to do or predicted to do. That's why people gamble, because we know that, okay, every time that this team plays in the snow, 9 out of 10 or 70% of the time they lose. Obviously miracles happen, but these are information that's right in front of us that we can just pay attention to and prep us pretty early for our journey. So I hope that answers your question. I hope that brings clarity to certain things and other things, but please feel free to ask more. I truly appreciate it.